cables.
Fantastic. Yeah, just talk. I'll edit them down.
All right. Okay. For the Student Social Media Showcase at the University of Brighton, we have been trying to showcase some of the work that our students already use social media for. So we try and see whether they're using social media to do some research in the business school, some business research, or whether they're just using social media to talk to people about their research, or whether they're actually researching social media, you know, what you do on Facebook, or whether you go to LinkedIn, or whether that has any relationship with their learning, and whether that's going to be helpful in their careers afterwards. So that's what we're trying to do in the showcase. But what about as a university? I use it in my work as a university person. I try to blog about things that I do in terms of research for my work, and I use things like Twitter to stay in touch with colleagues in my area to find out what's going on. What do you use it for?
Personally, I use it much the same way you've described as a learning technologist.
Yeah.
It's the place where we hang out, so that is my network. They're all out there, and over the past, I don't know how many years I've been on Twitter, but over the past 5 years I've built up a real trust network, so I can ask a question and get responses, but it's taken years to build up that kind of network and trust. But I think it really works for me because people like me in roles like mine all use Twitter actively, whereas I've seen in other professions, perhaps say more, I don't know, the biologists or something, they don't. Twitter isn't where they hang out.
Right.
So I think it really matters what kind of role you've got. So across the university, it's not the kind of one-size-fits-all. Twitter works for me. Students, I find, at the moment, Facebook's still big, increasingly Instagram, but students seem to set their own course cohorts on Facebook, and they do that just automatically as a way of communicating. WhatsApp and Facebook are the preferred tools for them for communication. University essentially finds it hard to engage with that sometimes. If we set up areas, it's not necessarily what they want. They want their sense of ownership. But it does, I think, increasingly provide ways that staff can come together, particularly like we were talking earlier, around a conference, something like this, where you can set a hashtag. And people are starting to really get that now, that the hashtag is the way of grouping people around a common topic.
I'm trying to learn that something like Twitter works best visually. Or with links to other content. So that I think when we began using Twitter, we were perhaps, or certainly I was probably, a bit obsessed by the number of characters you get in a tweet. And of course it's totally irrelevant now, because you can put out pictures, you can put links, you can put videos in there, and you can link to other web content. So it's fantastic. So what you were saying about students setting up Facebook and WhatsApp or other bits of social media for their own purposes, to connect, to collaborate, to learn, to work, to sort out group assignments, that sort of thing, makes total sense to me, because I really don't think that as a university tutor I'm the best person to set up the space they're going to inhabit.
They want it,
And we do have a set up university space, and of course there are plenty of places for that, but they're teacher controlled, and I don't think that's what social media is about. It's about user control.
We have tools like the virtual learning environment where there is a tutor controlled space. But for the personal learning and the group work, it's their choice.
I think that's much better, and a lot of the research I've been seeing, increasingly they're using Facebook, or encouraging students to use Facebook. In fact, I saw a paper last week where they had offered a discussion board on the virtual learning environment, and they said, but you could also use a private group in Facebook. I'll set it up as the tutor if that's what you want me to do, and I will have a presence in the Facebook area, but it's entirely run by you. And that seemed to work much easier. I guess, it's just a number of clicks, isn't it? It's if you've got Facebook on your phone, it's that much faster to get in there than actually logging into the university environment.
We've done some research recently on whether students want that more social, feed-driven thing through the learning environment, but they're quite astute, our students, about what social media is for and what the learning environment is for, and they don't want us trying to take over Facebook or recreate a kind of university Facebook. Remember, we've tried that in the past, and it hasn't really worked. They understand what social media is for, they get that feed-driven, responsive, instant thing. Whereas the learning environment here is something quite different that they can go to when they need it.
It's institutional, it's standard, it's reliable, it's got quality, and you can trust what's on there.
And even when we're using Facebook, for example, with our students, we always try and encourage them to post all the stuff, but always refer back to the institution as the official authorised source.
Yeah, and that works great. Yeah, they've got the informal and the formal
Yes.
for learning, which is great. Do you think we ought to be teaching our staff at the university to use social media?
Absolutely, they need to understand how it can be used effectively, even if that is to not use it with their students. Because we see people where they go, oh, I'm just going to use Twitter with this class, but they're not sure why or what they're trying to achieve, and maybe Twitter isn't actually the right tool for getting feedback from your students. Maybe something more institutional like Poll Everywhere, where it's not public, is actually going to achieve the same thing but maintain some privacy. But there are times when being out there in the real world using real social media is appropriate, so you just need to make sure they've got that level of understanding to make appropriate use of the tools, rather than going, I'm using Facebook because it's cool or the latest thing.
My friend is. Yes, exactly. And I don't think it's a generation thing at all. I think it's people who have taken the plunge and gone out there and done their first tweet or their first blog or their first Facebook entry, and then realise that it's not going to bite them, it's not going to hurt them, and actually university staff can have a private Facebook and also a public Facebook identity. So I think all teachers need to understand digital identity alongside digital literacy.
And our students do too, before they say something terrible in their first year, which comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, that's a bit frightening. Hey, brilliant to talk to you. Thanks,
Thank you.
Katie.
Thanks, Sue.
Cheers.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you.